Welcome to the Uncle Jimmy, Cousin Donnie Show, episode number 46. Sponsored by the Beacon Tap. How are you doing, Cousin Donnie?
Good, Jimmy. How are you feeling on this? How was the? I saw you went live from the party for the Kentucky Derby at Josh Szymanski.
For Mr. Josh Szymanski's 40th birthday party, it was only right to go live on the page. Show some support for. Not only we had a lot of softball people there. Obviously, Bobby Ronald was there. We had Stretch, Park League hero. He was there. Julian was there.
Park League hero.
We had a lot of good, got a lot of good-looking individuals present.
That was a handsome party.
Yes. So, one of the things that I loved just about the whole situation of that day is I don't think any single person won any money at the party.
You guys are all betting. You are all betting on somebody.
Dude, my 11 horse, he got bumped the whole way down the track on this backstretch. He would have won the race. We had it, Donnie. We had it. We were right there. And the 2 horse cost us a lot of money.
Yeah, the 2 horse probably got shot after the race anyway, just because, usually one and done for those guys. But man, it's a pretty cool day to see all the celebrities and see how many races there are during that day. Did you win any money on any other races?
Me and my kids were messing around earlier in the day, and we were just doing a couple $2 here, $2 there. Yeah. We ended up profitable. We were $34 profitable, me and the kids.
Good. Just picking names, just cool names.
Yeah, just picking numbers, and they last. So, it was just a fun weekend with the Derby. It's always the most exciting 2 minutes in sports.
Yeah, it was exciting. It was really cool.
So, really quick, though, I want to say happy haircut, Cousin Donnie.
Thank you, sir.
Tremendous.
I had to get it before we went live today. I rushed at the end of the day yesterday and got it done. So, I always like to look my best on the show. I know we've got a lot of folks watching, people that watch our show on our new Sunday night schedule. We had some softball this week. We had softball at Forest Park. We had softball in Melrose. You guys won a game. You guys played Impact on Wednesday, right? May 1st. Beat Impact and then unfortunately lost to Flash. But nice win. Beat those guys.
My Hex team, obviously we're not off to the start we all wanted to be on, but we were talking today about it. Our 4 losses, all 4 of the losses, I felt like, we were right there, 4th, 5th, 6th inning. Didn't make a play, didn't get a hit, didn't do something, and the wheels kind of fell off. And 2 of those games after that, 8-6, you get a 0, you go in the top of the 5th, you go 1, 2, 3, and they come out with 4 runs. And at that point, it was kind of like the rest is history against Flash. And same thing with you. The first game of the year, we were 1-0 in the 4th inning, and we had some unfortunate plays, and then you guys came out in the 6th inning. I mean, it was only 3-1, and in the top 6, you guys exploded. So same thing against High Y. We scored 4 runs in the first, got to the 5th inning, we were winning 4-1 or 4-2, and they got a couple runs, and then we didn't score the whole game. So you can't do that against good teams, as you know, and we'll see. Well, hopefully, moving forward, we will play with a little more urgency, and as the year goes on, I like our team. I still like our team. I think we're going to have a nice year. It's just we got to now start doing those things in the right times to have a little better season. So, I
Yep.
think we got a lot of veterans on our squad. We got a lot of guys that have been there, played in big games.
Yep.
So I have no worries whatsoever. But sometimes, getting off to a slow start is not always the best thing. But
Yep.
hopefully, come July and August, it is a good thing, right?
That's
So,
that's when that's when it matters the most, and you know that. I mean,
right,
you can get off to an 0-5 start, but play good in the tournaments, and
right,
none of that matters. So, other games
yeah,
that happened this week, uh, we played Tuesday against Meatball City, and we played March. We've played March in the tournament for Matty Dozen's guaranteed rate. We then played them Tuesday, and now we play them again tomorrow. So we've seen a
right,
lot of that March team to start the year. Beat them, and then we walked off Meatball City in a really good softball game.
right.
Talked to those guys after the game, and what a good game. Mark Menizzi, huge walk-off hit in the bottom of the seventh. I almost screwed up the game for the guys, but they they pulled through and they won the game because I made a bad out in the seventh inning with first and second. But nobody watching that, right? It didn't
No,
matter. It was nice, and it was nice to kind of pull through and win that game. And I'll tell you what, there's some other good teams out there. We had March beat Players Inc. this week. Hex beat Impact. Pharaohs beat March. Pharaohs looks okay. I think they're going to have a nice team.
we
Um,
play girls tomorrow.
I was going to say you guys play
6:45.
Pharaohs tomorrow, and then Iron beat Demons 7-2 without the kids from college, so their team continues to roll without their full lineup. 45s beat Flash 11-5, and I think both teams were a little bit short. So it
Yeah,
just kind of shows you how deep you need to be a really good team. To be honest with you, so Forest Park's off to a good start. Meatball City beat Impact on Tuesday, and then Impact beat March. So some teams getting off to a hot start, some teams getting off to a slow start, but it's good that everybody's getting out and playing.
yeah, no, I think it's a great thing, and obviously as we keep updating everyone throughout the season, we also had an A tournament.
Yep.
We asked Francisco to join us, but I don't think he has. Really quick to give us a quick recap of the weekend, but just in case he didn't, I kind of did my homework. I saw there were some upsets. Obviously, the team that we picked, did not.
Let
They
us
actually
down so bad. I know. We both
they
picked
literally,
Jefferson Terry and Whale, and they literally lost to Menace in the first game.
yep. And
What the hell's
so,
that on?
uh,
This is a good question.
what?
This past weekend, Forest Park announcer Adam Cumby referenced Donnie and said that he was now in adult things. What things? I'm not sure. What did Adam Cumby say that I was involved in? I got to know. I might send Adam Cumby a quick message and ask him to talk a little bit about that. I'm not sure what the hell he's talking about.
Yeah,
But Jimmy,
I don't know, but
really,
really quick, why don't
yeah,
before we get into the A tournament, why don't we say
yeah,
hello? Who joined the feed? Mark
yeah.
Menizzi, welcome. Chris Pohanka, welcome. Rich Aceves, Tommy Corlett, Jeremy Lafrano, TJ Flanagan, um, Isaiah Rosando, Sean McGrady, Steve Burke, Michael Hendricks, Laurel Oliva, Drew Leddick, welcome, sir. Bobby, welcome. Steve Burke, welcome. Wags, welcome. Brian Sloan, Pops, our boy Pops, welcome.
The
Antoinette, welcome. Randy Nelson, welcome. Dave Butterfield, our boy Dave, welcome to the feed. JP, welcome. Obviously, Will and Rich Aceves says, prime time, proud of these boys. So,
yeah,
yeah, so prime time actually ended up playing 10 deep in the final. They played 2 innings, and then the game got rained out.
yeah,
So it was definitely something that, it was a great weekend. Bankroll made a run to the Final Four. I saw, and the way they did it was a single elimination. It was guaranteed 2 games, kind of similar how Matty Dozen ran his tournament, which I kind of like. It was kind of a
mm-hmm.
cool little thing, right? You keep winning the winners bracket, you stay alive, and if you lose your first game, well, you got a consolation bracket. I believe they called it the third place, but either way, with primetime playing 10 deep, it looked like 10 deep was having a day. I mean, they beat Bankroll. I
Mm-hmm.
believe they beat some good teams on Saturday. They beat Menace. So there was some really good teams out there. And Whale, unfortunately, the team we chose, they lost their first game, Donnie. So we put the uncle Jimmy and cousin Donnie Hex on them. sure. So
The hex, not to be for a play on words, a hex for you, Uncle
right.
Jimmy. Adam Cumby says, "Dirty Donnie, Richard to see you as Seth Roach." Rich, I want to tell you, it's really nice that you're joining that primetime team. I think they rely on somebody like a seasoned veteran. I know Mike Cadella does a nice job getting guys all off season. He's got a lot of young kids, a lot of baseball players, and for a veteran to go over there and play some ball with those guys is going to be super important. Primetime's a nice team, so whether you need to pitch for those guys or just kind of throw strikes and let the athletes play, they've got some really talented dudes on that team for primetime. And, shout out to those guys doing really well in their first tournament. Oh,
Lost you there. We lost you there, cousin Donnie.
fuck. Did you lose me?
Yeah, you're back now. You're good.
Hello?
You're good. We can see you. We're good. Tonight might be the night of technical difficulties. I know we're trying to actually have Mike join from the Ian Woodworth tournament, the co-ed tournament that's going to be happening May 11th. We wanted to chat about that and talk a little bit about the Woodworth tournament, but Mike is also having some difficulties getting on the feed for some reason.
Hello.
I'm just letting the fans know about this Monday, May 11th. There's the co-ed tournament on 107th, basically in Ridgeland on the south side. The tournament is the Woodworth Invitational, or the Woodworth, co-ed tournament. We've asked Mike and a family member to join tonight, and he's having trouble getting on the feed. So, I wanted Mike to speak a little bit about what that tournament is and, what it's about, because it's definitely something that's continuing to grow year over year. It's a charity tournament. And they raise a ton of stuff and they donate stuff, and it's just an awesome day. A lot of cool people, a lot of awesome fun going out there. So hopefully, and here's Mike here. Hopefully, if he can get him on. Mike, can you hear us? Can you hear us, Mike?
I can barely hear you.
Okay.
Oh, it's kind of cutting in and out there, Jim.
Yeah, he's cutting in and out. Mike, I don't know I don't know what service you're working with, but
Try it now.
that's a little better. I mean,
Barely.
yeah. So, Mike, we were just talking about the Woodworth tournament.
Going into a different room is
Happy
always
Cinco de Mayo, by the way. This is Amber's birthday, by the way, believe it or not.
Okay. So, we were just talking about the May 11th tournament and what it means to the community and the family. Why don't you tell us a little bit about, what the whole day's about? Just give us a quick rundown
It
on.
started roughly like 6 years ago when Amber got diagnosed with a rare cancer disease, and in 6 months, I mean, it was so aggressive that in 6 months she lost her battle to cancer. So that's how it started, actually. But giving you some lowdown on what it was all about. One of my buddies, Ronnie, her husband, is a good friend of mine. We've been playing softball together I've been actually playing for 40 years. He's a little younger than me, and he's just a great guy. Everybody knows his name, Ronnie Woodworth, but his name's Woody. So, he was, a fixture of the community, the softball world. Everybody knows him, his father, and,
Mm-hmm.
So we've been friends, like I said, for close to, 30 years going on. But anyways, so his wife, got, they were high school sweethearts, got married, and, she got diagnosed with that awful disease 6 months later, back in 2016. And after she got diagnosed with that disease, 6 months later, she passed, and they had four kids from the ages back in 2016. They were 5, 3, and twins at 1. And their names Nolan, Easton, Maddox, and Jameson. And Jameson had a rare chromosome disease, and had special needs for the rest of his life. I mean, just a tragic story. And so the whole community, I mean, it was crazy how this softball world is. I mean, it's just nuts how everybody comes together and how how everybody just. It was crazy. But anyway, so what happened is he was on my team, and with the Saint Christina. We were playing, and we're like,
Sure.
man, this is just such a tragic thing that happened to Ronnie and his family and stuff. We have to do something. So one of my good buddies, Nick DeNova, owns Bourbon Street. And me and my wife said, we got to do something for him. I mean, these kids, he needs help. And they're such a proud family, and they're a
Yeah.
quiet family. They don't like any attention or anything like that, And he didn't want no help, but there was no way I was gonna let that, we were gonna let that sit. So what we did
Right.
is we formed in 6 months' time, believe this or not, in 6 months or 6 weeks, not 6 months, 6 weeks, we put a benefit together at Bourbon Street. And I'm not kidding you, guys. I mean, probably 8 to 10,000. Nick said he'd never seen anything like it. 8 to 10,000 people just came pouring in there. The baskets. I can't even. The benefit baskets. There must have been. I can't even tell you how many baskets there were. There over 1,000. Just people bringing in
Yeah.
support, raffles, and everything like that. So the whole, you say about community. I mean, the whole softball community, his friends, family, everybody just came together. And so after that happened, after we put that together, we decided to have, because that wasn't going to be enough. Whatever, we raised, whatever we raised. It was great for the family. We gave it all to the family. Everything went to the family. And we had to do something for their kids, because they were so young. Now they're 11, 9, and they're both, the twins are 7 now. But like I said, when that happened, they were so young, and so
Yeah.
we wanted to form like for their education and stuff. And like I said, Jameson was going to have special needs for the rest of his life, So what
Sure.
we did then is we started a softball tournament, an annual softball tournament. It's going on. It's 5th year. We lost the year of because of COVID. We couldn't go out there and play.
Right.
So
Mhm.
we had so it's going on. It's 5th year, and every year we get 25 teams out. Between the first year we got, I believe it was close to 27 teams. So, but almost every year, like this year we got, I believe there's 21 teams this year. And
Yep.
same thing. We have this huge benefit out there. We have food trucks that come out. We have teams. Competitive teams, major players. Guys like the Smith brothers come out. Everybody from the community.
Yep.
I'm not talking just like it's
Oh
a
yeah.
co-ed tournament. Because Amber
We
was
played in the
she
championship,
was an
Donnie,
unbelievable
2 years in a
softball
row.
player too. What's that?
So we played in the championship a couple years in a row.
I can barely hear you, so I'm just gonna keep on talking. All right.
Yeah.
So anyway, so we started this. So it started at St. Christina Fields. We had it there the first year. So now it's been it's at Peaks Park in Worth, which is on 107th Street, and the exact address is 6701 107th Street in Worth. So.
Yep.
So we have food trucks out there. We have live bands out there. Anybody that wants to come out this year, it's this Saturday, which is on the 11th, and Hog Wild comes out, who's a good friend of ours too. His name's
Yep.
Brian Pecores, but everybody calls him Chops because of Hog Wild.
Sure.
He comes out with his food truck, caters
Your
the
finger-
whole thing to
fingers over
people
the
that
camera, so you
come
know.
in, and uh, all the proceeds and everything. He doesn't keep a dime of it. It goes back to the family. The live band that comes out there is a friend of mine too that I played softball, Lee Bailey. He's a guitarist and musician and stuff. So his band comes out there, plays live music all day. We got people that come out to sing the national anthem. It's just crazy how it turned out. And 5 years. I'm talking 5 years going strong too. It's not dying. It's not. But this
That's
family really deserves it. They're a great. There's 4 brothers, and they're just awesome people. The whole family. The father. I played softball with the father 40 years ago in Worth. Ronnie's dad.
Sure.
So, but yeah, it's a great support. I appreciate you guys what you're doing here, live. Getting it out there, and it really means a lot to us and the family. So.
Yeah.
There was one thing I wanted to tell you guys about the website for if anybody wanted to come on that's live streaming, wants to donate or anything. That website is you go to Ambers AMBERS Army 5 at gmail.com. That's you go on that website. You want to donate anything to the cause, it goes right into there. the fun that they got,
Yep.
only the family sees it, and goes to them, and everything supports the kids and the family. And then I already gave you the address to where if people want to come out, it's for anybody that
Yep.
wants to come out on the 11th. Come on out and have a great time. I mean, we get hundreds of people out there. They have stuff for the kids. They have stuff for everybody. Some adult beverages, or if you don't drink, then there's other stuff going on. They have, like I said, live band and everything. So that's all taking place out there, and some great softball too. Like I said, these teams that are co-ed, I mean, some of the girls that play out there, they could beat most of the men's teams. I mean, they're that good, So it's always a fun time. I always love being out there and watching it. I don't play no more, but maybe in the 50 over, but that's about it.
Yeah.
But I like to watch
Mike,
it and be around it and stuff. So I've been around it my whole life. So.
Right. So Mike, can you hear us, Mike?
Ian didn't go into all the details with you guys yourself, So are you guys? Yeah. I mean, obviously a softball website, right?
Well,
you're part of the I don't know what you're a part of, the SSA or.
Just go ahead, Donnie.
Well, we're not. We're independent. We're doing our own thing, kind of doing shows every week and just kind of talking about the game of softball with everybody. We're not associated with the SSA or ASA, but we have guests on all the time from both both associations. And if you want to keep on pushing our show, we're definitely going to push the tournament. This is in Worth, Illinois, on May 11th. So it's a great cause, great event. And thank you, Mike, for coming on and talking about the tournament with us. I'm sure you can't hear us right now, or if you can, that's great. But just we'll definitely push the tournament. It's ambersannual.eventsmart.com. So we'll put a link out there on our show for the page.
That's
absolutely.
Awesome.
And Mike,
it, guys.
Yep. And I just want to say,
appreciates this too. And I hope this reaches a lot of people. And I hope some of you guys show up, or some of the people that are watching show up, because it's for a great cause and it's for a great family. So we really appreciate it. Everybody that goes out and helps, and it's really the softball community is unbelievable. It really is.
Yep.
So, Mike, I just wanted to say thank you. I don't know if you can hear me, but I wanted to say thank you for everything, for coming on the show. Thank you for what you guys are doing. And I know the Woodward family very well, so I wanted to, give a nice tribute to them. And let's get out there.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for doing this. So, like I said, I can't thank you guys enough. And we'll talk soon when I can hear you guys better and come back on the show and maybe get some more tournaments going.
Yeah, for sure. Get rid of that Boost Mobile. Thank you.
Nice meeting you.
So.
Yeah. Well done.
Yeah, man. It's definitely an awesome thing, right? Awesome thing out there that they'll be doing. And, I just thought it was a good thing to get the word out there about the co-ed tournament. I've played it the last 2 or 3 years. So it's been an awesome, awesome day. I brought my kids out there. They had a blast. So it's just a ton of fun. So,
yeah.
That being said, our boy, Sam Rogers.
He's in the green room.
He's in the green room. He is absolutely getting hammered right now.
Yeah, it's a running joke that you've had the last couple weeks, and I know Mike Marola quickly told you that he was drinking water. After the show on Sunday, I saw Mike the next day at a restaurant randomly, and he was like, "Man, I loved coming on the show. It's so awesome." And his dad was like, "Oh, that's your show." So our show is growing more popular by the week. But let's bring on Sam if he's ready to go.
Yeah. Before we bring on Sam, I want to say hi to the people in the crowd really quick. We have Mr. Curtis Jackson, Mr. Joey Carbs, CJ, Chance, Adam, Chris, Mike, Tyler Spears, our boy Timmy Kornikowski, Marty, welcome. Christopher Rieger, welcome. Phil Mahue, welcome. Ross Rendell, welcome from Iowa. There's, so a lot of guys jumping on. We saw Drew, we saw Jake, a lot of Iowa guys waiting for Sam. So are you ready to bring on Mr. Rogers?
Chris Rieger just jumped on the show. He is a member of the Whale team, who we both picked to win the tournament this weekend, and we were swiftly let down by Mr. Rieger and his Whale team. Lane Neiman, thank you for the compliment. Got a couple hairs chopped yesterday. But I want to say shout out to Chris Rieger for letting us both down.
Yeah, we'll never pick Whale again. So,
Oh, yeah.
but you know what though? We had a blast yesterday at Josh's party. We went
I'm glad.
live.
I'm
We
glad.
forgot all about the Whale team, so we're
I'm
not
glad.
worried.
Glad.
Well, let's
Go
get
ahead.
Mr. Rogers on. I'm gonna go get him from the green room. Mr. Sam, are you on, buddy? There he is. Look at him.
Uh-oh.
Hammer and Miller. Look at him.
How we
Good
doing,
to go home at a
fellas?
good time.
How
So,
we doing?
Sam, welcome to the Uncle Jimmy and Cousin Donnie show, sponsored by the Beacon Tap. You are guest number 46 tonight, or episode number 46, my man.
Exciting.
How does it feel? So tell us a little bit about who Sam Rogers is for those people watching tonight, and then also give us a little background about your softball career.
So yeah, I'm Sam. I play for Hall of Fame. I'm out of Iowa. Kind of started playing. Well, one of the guys on my team, Trey Blackford, he's our rover, our short center, as you guys would call it.
Yeah.
Uh, he actually coached me some in baseball in high school, and pretty much said, "All right, whenever you're done, like whenever you graduate, if you're around, you're playing." So graduated or whatever and hopped on, and Hall of Fame was my first team and my only team, and hopefully for my whole career my only team. So that's kind of all I know is Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully they don't throw you off.
I hope not. Hopefully I can keep my worth there a little bit. But
So, how'd you get into softball, Sam?
I mean that was it. Just got asked. I'm in Marshalltown. I live in Marshalltown. There's a lot of opportunity to play in Marshalltown between 16-inch, 14-inch, and co-ed. So I got in 16-inch right away. Then a little after I graduated, I started playing some 14-inch too in Marshalltown with some guys that just buddies. We kind of started a team. And then next thing you know, it's co-ed too. And the next thing you know, you're at the Diamonds 3 nights a week playing 3 different games, really.
Yeah. So I gotta ask you this. You know, I heard you've been beefing up in the off season, but I also know you haven't hit the gym lately because I haven't seen you on there. So what's the word, my man? And that comes from a well-known source that you have not been in the gym.
I heard that guy owns the gym.
Yeah, yeah.
I second week of January I herniated a disc, so been out of commission for a while, and then once weather changed, I've been busy. I'm in the process of moving right now too, so once I get moved and everything's
Get
settled,
off
then
this
it's
guy's back, man. This is a tough life that we live. There's a lot of stuff going on right now.
I gotta. How did you hurt your back?
well, you're familiar with the old timer. There's some stairs outside of those. Come wintertime, evidently there's ice on those every now and then. Um, and not many lights about 2 a.m. in the morning during bar close, and
Oh yeah,
and yeah.
I hear you.
But here we are.
Sam,
We're back.
here's what you got to know. Okay, Jimmy has done extensive research about you and your friend group before you come on the show. So he pretty much knows everything about you before you get on the show, and he'll know stuff that you're shocked about.
He knows the story I just told is an absolute lie. So.
Yes, 100%, 100% lie.
But we're gonna roll with that one for the general public.
It works. We'll say you slipped on some ice in the middle of April. All right, we'll go with that.
Yep.
So you know, obviously you play in Iowa. How has the season started in Iowa right now? What's the temperature out in Iowa right now? What's going on?
Well, temperature. I mean, it's nice out. It's beautiful. The weather's turned, but the last official game that I've played in was Vegas in October.
Really? So you guys haven't started yet?
Not a single league in Iowa has started yet for 16-inch softball.
Wow.
So I haven't played a scheduled game since October.
When does that kind of start up, Sam?
Next week, actually. It'll be the first week, so we'll play next week. 2 leagues will start next week, one in Marshalltown, one in Des Moines. And then our first tournament, our opening tournament, kind of like our early bird, will be the 18th, 19th, if that's the Saturday, Sunday in May, and that one will be in Fairfax. So, I mean, I'll have 4 official games in before our first tournament, and then, but I mean, still, we haven't played. There's guys, I've gone out and done BP stuff. Michael Heinrichs, I think he's probably on here. He's pretty frequent on here. He's done a lot of things in Des Moines area, creating opportunities for guys to play in the spring there. I'm just an hour away, and again, healing a little bit and and moving. So I haven't taken advantage of those opportunities yet, but shout out to him. He's given a lot of guys chances to kind of play some pickup games and that to give some Iowa guys a little bit of a chance when we show up to the north south here in a month.
Yeah,
So
it's crazy. It'll be here before you know it.
right. So we're pretty envious of you guys. You guys get so many opportunities like in the spring, and then not only that, it's like our league start, our Marshalltown league, for instance. There's one major team. We're the only major team in it. I know Jake Reynolds, he's throwing a team together, and they'll have some of the Chucks guys on that. But other than that, we're kind of a mixed league, but between
Yeah.
A and B league, our A and B league are even can join this year just so we can put a schedule together. I think between A and B, there's like 6 teams, and that's between guys that have only ever played one night a week for however long they've been in Marshalltown, and then there's teams like us.
You make me think, when you say that, right? We talk about growing softball, growing the game all the time. Is there any way out in Iowa you guys can start maybe going into the high schools and pitching the 16-inch game to the high schools out there? Because I know there's kids, right? Obviously there's high school sports, college sports, all in Iowa, and I know the Iowa fans are huge supporters of all their athletics. So I'm just curious, has there ever been a thought for anyone in Iowa ever going to a high school or college and really kind of presenting the 16-inch game, just to start it at a younger age? Because to your point, you mentioned, you didn't know about the game until someone really asked you, right, to play it.
Yep.
I'm just curious, is that even a possibility? Or is there, I'm assuming there's, high schools, right? There's got to be schools. So
yeah, we have high school.
I know you guys.
There's just no education for kids 14 to 18 at all.
Yeah. I know they're not always playing in the cornfields and the farm. But either way, has that ever been kicked around? Is that an idea or thought that's ever been brought up?
I think there's a group of guys in the game right now that is going to be a good group of guys to kind of start stuff like that. Marshalltown specifically, there's not a lot of opportunity for young guys because pretty close with the baseball program at the high school in Marshalltown.
Right.
Done a lot with them, and their varsity team, like, we're one of the bigger high schools in Iowa. Marshalltown is, and we'll have a freshman team and a varsity team this year just to field enough guys. It's like in Marshalltown's not really an option. It'd definitely be a thing in Des Moines.
Yeah.
And I think there's some guys that are in the game right now that are definitely starting to put some effort into growing it. I think some good things are happening, like the ISSA being created the last couple of years. Those guys have done a great job.
Yeah.
I think we're starting to make some progress there. I think our biggest issue is I know you guys have kind of attacked this one, but the 12-inch game, man, it's taken over. And it's really hard. There's a lot of guys that have even left 16-inch for 12-inch. Then we get this, couple that were 12-inch guys that we kind of get to convert back to 16-inch. But I think that's the biggest downer for us right now is 12-inch is just there's so much opportunity, right? Like for us, like I was saying, we haven't had opportunity to play yet. A lot of those guys are 3-4 tournaments in already because they can go to play in Des Moines, but also they can go to Kansas City. They can go to Omaha. I know there's a huge tournament in Minnesota this weekend called Corky's that, there's multiple, dozen plus Iowa teams up there. That's the biggest thing for us, I think. It's the 12-inch game.
Yeah. You really got to get some of those 12-inch teams to start playing 16-inch. And I think once they see the value of the 16-inch game, it's a different element, it's more like baseball. And for those athletes that played baseball most of their life, they really adapt to 16-inch softball. It's just the problem is a lot of them, they've never seen it. They've never heard about it. Right. So one of the main reasons why Donnie and I have been doing what we've been doing, but also really just the softball community, right? I think the support and everything that we've been trying to accomplish is really about that, right? Getting more 12-inch teams to play 16 because it's crazy. Down the road from you guys, they have 192 teams in a 12-inch tournament. It's like, it's
right.
So, you mean to tell me that 10 or 15 of those teams can't play 16-inch or at least try it? Like that's what you got to tap into. And, to somebody's point, I think Sean McReady said, if you build it, they will come, right? I mean, famous quote, right? But either way, he's right, in a lot of ways. So that's the thing is really, it's going to take time, take effort, and we might not see it in the next 5 to 10 years. Who knows? Maybe we do start seeing some results, but yeah, it's crazy to think that you guys haven't even played a game yet. I mean,
Yeah,
Wow.
and it makes a difference. And then that's the other thing is even when we do play, I mean, I maybe play 4 games a week if I happen to be scheduled doubleheaders during the summer, like maybe. And that being said, 2 of those games might be against teams they might have 2 guys that are legitimately hitting the ball 240. Like they might not even have that many guys hitting the ball there. So it's not even necessarily good 16-inch in a sense. So it's a little battle over here for us, especially when we come, compete over there. We kind of almost at a disadvantage coming in just because we don't get the reps, we don't get the games. And then especially in the no glove thing, I know we always get the hard time from the Chicago guys that we play with gloves. And then granted, tournaments are, but Chuck's for instance, for instance, I don't think I've played a league game with the glove for 2-3 years.
yeah,
So I mean, like we do what we can,
yeah,
but
I hear you.
it's a lot more for us. We've got a lot of guys that just get together and just hit. I mean, usually I feel like 16-inch practice, if you want to call it, just guys going to get swings. But a lot of the time for us, we're dang near almost going to practice so that we can come compete with you guys when we come over.
Right.
So
It's crazy to think, man. It's crazy. So, well, I mean, Donnie, why don't you get into your first question before I get into
Yeah, I want to talk about, this was kind of an interesting offseason for these Iowa guys and the Iowa team, just with those 2 teams kind of combining, right, with Chucks and with Old Timers coming together. And we we fear those guys a little bit more than I would say we would over the last couple of years because of how good that team is going to be. What's the mentality for you guys right now going into the season? Do you guys want to beat them probably real bad now and just show how good you guys can be too? I mean, what's kind of the mentality facing those guys and then seeing them over here in tournaments? Obviously, you want Iowa teams to be successful because that gives you guys some some reputation and fears, a little bit more fear in the Chicago teams. But I guess the question is, what's the confidence level for you guys, and then what do you think will be the biggest confidence level for those guys kind of coming into the season?
I mean, for us, that's our biggest game, right? It's
Yeah.
last year, when Chucks and OT were 2 teams, there's 3 major teams.
Yep.
Pretty frequently, it's Chucks, OT, Hall of Fame are going to be 3 of the top 4 teams in every tournament. Now you took one of those teams out.
Yep.
So I think for us, expectation is, I mean, Hall of Fame versus Chucks championship in every Iowa tournament is our expectation for sure. And then if we get there, then that's when the struggle comes is, you got, they're hitting 11 guys. There's 8 of them that, are putting the ball over the fence. And that's at almost every complex we play at too. So, keep them in the yard, which isn't really a thing.
Tough, man.
And then, if you try walking one guy, you're going right into another or something. So, I mean, they're going to be tough to beat. Wind blowing in is going to be our shot. Other than that, it's doable. I mean, we're confident. That's a big game for us, no matter what. And I think a lot of those guys respect us too. I think too. So, they know that we can play good softball, and so that I think we're gonna be big games for them too.
I don't mean that to discredit your team at all. I think you guys have a really nice team, and I'm kind of proud of how much confidence you guys have kind of going into the season because that team has a lot.
Don't let him lie to you, Sam. He's trying to discredit your team.
I would never do such a thing. Not to my guy Sam. He's got a bad back. Yeah. But obviously not to discredit. I mean, there's a lot of hype around that team specifically. That's what I was kind of getting at. But it's all about how you guys play in those big games, and when you come over here, it's competing in these games, and that's why you're playing 4 nights a week, when you can, so that way you can compete when you guys come over here. So
Yeah.
I appreciate the insight towards that team. But did you guys make any pickups for this season? Did you guys pick up anybody good?
We're on year 3 with 0 roster changes.
Wow.
We've got our guys. It's on our hats here. I guess it's backward for you guys.
Family. Yeah.
That's kind of a big deal for us. And like, granted, the guys get old, or kids start getting stuff and things change a little bit. But yeah, we're on year 3 with 0 changes. And on top of that, something kind of different for our team too is there's not a guy on our team that's not from Marshalltown.
Really? Oh,
Yep.
wow. I did not know that.
So in Marshall County, there's East Marshall High School, West Marshall High School, and then Marshalltown High School, but they're all within 15, 20 minutes. And
Okay.
we don't have a single guy, whether it's an old guy on the team that's been around the game for 40 years, or our youngest guy who's 25, 24. Not a
Really?
single one of us didn't graduate from one of those 3 schools. So
Cool.
within 20 minutes.
That's
That's
pretty
something
rare.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
pretty rare in today's game. We see a lot of change year over year for a lot of teams. So that's pretty cool that you guys have kind of stuck together, and that will make you guys better. So, Jimmy, I'll kind of kick it back your way, but that's really cool to hear, Sam.
And this will be our first year too, where we have more guys in the lineup that are 30 or older. We had 2
Oh,
guys
wow.
turn 30 this year. And so now we're officially a 30-plus team. Before these last couple years, we had either 7 or 8 starters that were all in their 20s. So we're still pretty young too. We got time to get better.
No, yeah, for sure. I mean, you guys, I know since you guys started, you guys have improved every single year offensively. I think
Yeah.
that struggle in the beginning is learning how to hit, and a lot of your guys have learned how to hit now. So it's definitely really cool to see you guys develop and grow. I know I've been coming to Marshalltown for the last 6, 7 years. I take my team out there. We have a blast. That's where I go. I know you guys enjoy us being there because we're always battling and having fun. And half my team can't see straight, but that's okay. I mean, that's why we're there.
I think, because I think when we played you last year, I want to say we almost made it to the 6th inning before you guys headed home on Sunday, maybe.
Yeah. We what we left. Yeah, we got knocked. I think you guys knocked us out. Actually,
we 10-run you.
Yeah. So that's a good joke there. I like that one.
Hey,
I'll
Jimmy, you
remember
gonna
that
take
for
that? This is your show, Jim. You're gonna let him talk to you like that on your show?
That's okay because we're coming back this year with a vengeance.
Okay.
Man.
All
All right. This is all fueling the fire. You know what I mean? I got to rub the boys up. So rub the boys up. That's all right.
That doesn't happen.
That'll be here before we know it.
Yeah, I mean we're 3 weeks away. It's crazy. So it'll be awesome. Can't wait. So that kind of leads me, Donnie mentioned about your pickups and your team and things like that for this season. You've already touched on that a little bit, but I want to ask you, now that you've played softball, you've been playing softball, is there a guy either from Iowa, Chicago, or maybe a couple guys that at some point you would like to play with, whether it be a tournament or whether it be a season or whatever? What is that 1 or 2 or maybe even 3 guys that, I actually like that dude. I want to play with him, in a season or in a tournament at some point before I'm done playing softball.
Yeah, I thought a lot about this one actually. So when I first started playing, YTD was still a team, and we played them a couple times in A Nationals coming over, and then we played them our first year at North South. And they were pretty similar to us, and they're a bunch of young guys that like to drink beer. And so, even though they're not a team, if we could go back in time, it would have been, I think, a really, really fun to spend a weekend with YTD because we were pretty similar. Um,
Now, wherever he's at, he's celebrating.
no, yeah, he's one of my Chicago guys over there. But other than that, other fact, Jake Reynolds kind of threw me under the bus already once. I've gotten to know him pretty well working out at his gym the last couple of years. I've gotten kind of close with him. He'd be someone I'd kind of want to play with sometime. For one, just because pretty dang good player, and we just never had a bat in our lineup that's like a home run guy. And also, he's a good dude. I think he's a good competitor too. I think he's just a good team guy. He'd be one. And then the third one I had was a a guy named, we all call him J Boy in Iowa. He plays on the F Town team. That's
Okay.
come to your A Nationals. He's a leadoff hitter, center fielder. He's just, everybody knows the guy. 6 inch, 12 inch, 14 inch. He plays softball anytime he can. And he's so fun to watch. And again, he's just a good dude. He's someone I'd love to play with for a weekend for sure.
I
Well,
like
F Town made some noise at the A National
They
last
did.
year, so he must be a pretty good player. I do not know him. There's a couple other guys that I do know, but I do not know him individually. So I'll have to keep on the lookout this year when we play them for sure.
Yeah, and that'll be interesting too. I don't know if with Stover winning that last year too. Shout out to those guys. They were a championship team. Well, they were in the championship back-to-back years, but
Yeah.
they're actually the second Iowa team to ever win that. I think we were the first to ever
Yep.
win that in 2019. But Iowa kind of took over that tournament a little bit last year, an all
They
Iowa
did.
championship, and then I think
Yep.
another Iowa team maybe in the top 5. I want to say.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think they had 6 teams over there, and however many teams there were, 30 something, I'm guessing.
Yep.
I mean, we had 3 of our 6 go top 5, so I think that's
That's a
Vegas
great
Vegas
sign.
odds would have hit high for us that weekend.
That's a great sign for you. Trying to grow a league in Iowa too, right? I
Yeah.
think Dover, I think, is going to be something to be messing with here in the next couple of years too. I mean, they're going to be tough this year, so
Yeah,
they're going to
they're
give some battles.
they're a good young team. Like they're pretty young like this. We see them in Des Moines League frequently. We have a lot of fun with them. I'd say we're pretty close to them as a team as a whole.
Yeah,
They're another pretty like stick to your guys. These are my guys. This is my team. We'll win with them, lose with them.
yeah,
So we get along with them really well. But yeah, I think sounds like they're gonna try to get over for a no glove tournament too, hopefully. So um, we'll see what all they're allowed to do. I guess if they're gonna be forced to go major route or what
yeah.
they do.
Well, I mean, they did win the nationals, so they probably would have to go. They're not going to be able to play nationals next
Yeah.
year. They're going to have to come to Marshall. They're going to have to come to Joliet this year to play major. So hopefully they'd want to too. I think that'd be a nice uptick for them as well. So,
Yeah.
Really quick, I want to get to the comments. There's a really good comment I want to put. Your boy TJ, he said Jimmy was playing left field before the game was over. So, I was making sick ass catches in left field over the catches, Donnie. I mean, it was like, why doesn't this guy play left field more often? You know what I mean?
Why were you in left field?
We were having fun.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. we were having
Was
fun.
Sam, was the score in kind of a result of that,
Well,
or what?
last year we played 6 games on Saturday. I had 11 players on our roster. Then we went out. You can imagine how our 6 guys or our team felt on Sunday. All right. Not one guy on our team wanted to be at the park. It was bad.
Yeah.
But it
I
was fun.
think there's some frustration from a couple, maybe 2 guys that were trying to actually win, and I think the rest of you were looking forward to packing up and hitting the road.
That Saturday game, we played Shucks and we went 9 innings and we should have won the game and we lost in the 9th inning. And unfortunate because, at that point you lose your first game and then you got to play all those losers bracket.
Yeah.
So when you only have 11 guys at that time, it was rough, so, but either way, this year's a new year. We're excited. We're going to have a nice squad out there this year. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So, we do it right. We play $5 an hour, as you guys all know.
Yeah.
It's a really, really good time. So,
yeah, I think for that tournament, I think deadline for that, I think is May 24th to get in, and I think it's $200 or $250 entry fee. So
yeah. So I already paid our entry fee, man. We're in for sure.
Sweet.
So don't worry about that. But yeah, no, I mean, and we're Donnie and I we've really been promoting that. We've been trying to get from Kansas City 12-inch teams to come down. I talked to Kelly the other day. She's still planning on sending 2 teams. So
sweet. Yeah, I appreciate you guys doing that for us. That's awesome.
I hope they show. I hope they come. But yeah, that's what she's saying. She's still planning on sending 2, and I think it's an awesome thing. And she's paying for the entry fees, which I think is pretty cool.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, give them more of even an uptick to take the little ride uptown. So
yeah.
The nice thing about Marshalltown hotels are not that expensive. I mean, they're about $100, which is crazy, right? So, It's a really cool little town. I mean, there's not a ton to do, but there's the park atmosphere, old timers, everything to do with the tournament. I think is really a great time, and I know my guys really enjoy it. We used to go out there back in the day for major nationals and things like that. Unfortunately, we haven't done that in a long time, and we hope somewhere down the road, Iowa's going to be able to have a major national and be able to support the number of teams to get in that something like that type of tournament. So, which is awesome. So,
Yeah, no, that's a good time. And beer's cheap and it's cold and it flows down there pretty
oh
smooth.
yeah.
It's a
No
little
fun,
little
yeah.
easier to get your hands on beer down there than it is some Chicago tournaments, I feel like.
I want to ask you, since we're on the Iowa talk and Marshalltown and everything about Iowa, what what is something that you love the most about Iowa? Like because and about the softball game, like what do what stands out to you? Like this is the reason why I do it, and this is the reason why I love to do it. So, give us a little background on what you just love about Iowa so much.
Um, I guess specifically like for me, like what makes me kind of come back is definitely like my team as a whole. That's not even super softball related. That's kind of the relationships related. Like
Yeah,
we take the family thing so serious. Like we do. Like once a year in the off season, like we have a monthly party where we get together doing something. We always plan something just to make sure all the guys are together in the off season. But I mean, the same guys I play softball with are the same guys I work out with. Same guys. I mean, sitting at church with this morning.
yeah,
Uh, you know, we're all close. We don't just see each other on scheduled game nights. And that's year round. So that's my biggest thing. I think we've done a good job. It's easy to find guys you can win with. I think we've found a good group that you can lose with.
yeah.
And so that's a big thing for us.
That's a great line.
Obviously,
That's a good.
uh,
Yeah, that was a really nice quote. That's a tattoo right there. If you need a
there we
tattoo, Jim.
go. There we go. But I don't know. The tournaments that we have are pretty fun. Like you said, the clincher coming up. That's just an unbelievable time. There's a tournament in Carroll that I know has got brought up before. Uh, that one brings me back because it's around my birthday every year, but also because there's a drinking tournament
Yeah,
that weekend at the tournament. That's a pretty cool tournament to show up to. Kind of got a boost Hall of Fame here on this one. We've got three back-to-back trophies from a drinking tournament in Carroll, Iowa the last 3 years.
whoa,
So
really?
no softball trophies for first place over there, but let me tell you, the drinking tournament's a lock for us usually.
So does the Hall of Fame boys, want to challenge the Team Jagoff boys in Marshalltown this year or what?
Jimmy, I don't know, man. It sounds like they drink for a living down there. Sounds like they're
I don't
putting
know.
it
I got
back,
some
dude.
heavy hitters on that squad, boy. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I think we do okay.
Yeah.
That's and I will say though we've kind of slowed down. We've gotten kind of better and more competitive at softball. We've put the
Yeah,
beers down a little bit. So
yeah. You slow down a little bit as you get older.
yeah, for
Yeah, for
but
sure.
yeah, if you want to have a drinking tournament, I'm in.
Sounds like you're the team to beat.
So Donnie, you'd be out then if it was a
I
drinking
would
tournament,
I would
right?
suck at that. I would be very poor at that. Yeah, I would not be the recruit for that team. Uh, Sam, you mentioned that you've found a really nice group of guys to win with and also lose with, but I want to talk about maybe just the overall culture of Iowa in 16-inch softball specifically. You guys put together teams to more so have fun and kind of go out there and hang out, but you know the goal is to obviously to probably come here and win, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken. That's kind of what you put these really good teams together for, right?
Yeah. So I mean, for us in Trucks especially, right? Like we're right now kind of the only two teams playing at the major level. I mean, we come there 3 times a year, and
Yeah.
we want to win over there. It's like we know that. I mean, that's the best softball available. That's it. That's you guys are the mecca, and we want to come win over there.
Yeah.
I love
It's
that.
like that's obviously the goal for us. But also like it's those A teams. It's been so great seeing these Iowa A teams kind of come over and play in that tournament to get more Iowa teams in Chicago. Um, and with those guys kind of starting to take that more serious and starting to do that travel, it's making Iowa tournaments a lot more competitive and in the top half of stuff. Like granted, we lost a major team with OT and Chuck's merging, but these A teams are getting. I mean, you got to play. Got to show up and play.
Right.
So it's pretty cool atmosphere at that. I mean, our big tournaments with State, Carroll, and Clincher, and our three big ones. Like it's everyone knows everyone, which is kind of cool too. A lot of time, the same guys are playing in tournaments or guys who play in league. We don't have as many teams, obviously, so like there's a lot of personal relationships just throughout 16-inch. I mean, you can go up and guys, a couple guys at least on every team. So I think that's a pretty cool thing. It might be something maybe a little bit different in Chicago. Like you guys know everyone, I feel like, no names, but there's a lot of personal relationships like with every team.
Definitely.
So
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely Donnie doesn't know anybody in softball. We're getting
Zero.
there from Donnie.
Real loser over here on the right side of the screen.
But I'm going to tell you this, Sam. Look at his haircut, though, dude.
Thanks.
I know it.
He looks like 10 years younger.
I saw it before you guys started, and I put a hat on because mine was embarrassing. Couldn't compete.
Man.
Had to cover it up.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
it doesn't beat this, but still,
Yeah, right. That matted down.
We're working with you, man. We're working with you, all right?
Thanks, fellas.
I might have to get your barber's number when I come over one of these tournaments.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Donnie joined, forces with myself, and we just bring this kid to the promised land. I mean, he's got good hair now. He's on a major team. People like him.
Yeah.
I mean, look what the show has done for this kid. You know what I mean?
It's changed my life. I was out to lunch or like a breakfast with a friend, and he's like, one of my accounts is the Beacon Tap, right? And I was like, oh, I know the Beacon Tap pretty well. And he was like, they sponsor some softball show. He's like, do you know anything about the show? And I was like, tell me a little bit about this show. Like, what do they talk about? He was like, I think it's two weird guys talking about 16-inch softball. And I was like, that sounds like a terrible show. But it was talking about our show. So
right. No, man, it's awesome.
All over the world, worldwide, Sam.
It's awesome. No, but you guys done a great job. And I was telling Jimmy too, like it's pretty late for me, but if I don't watch it live, then I'll always watch it, a day or two after. And I think there's a lot of people that do that. So
yeah, we usually get 50 to 60 people that watch us live, and then sometimes more. We've had in the 70s and things like that, but it's just we do this for obviously the promotion of the game. We do it because we enjoy it too, but at the same time, it's really is about making our game bigger, better, and more noticeable to the people that don't play softball. I mean, you'd be amazed at how many people, neighbors, friends, family, that they know I play softball, but now like they kind of they're getting more involved, and it's funny to see. Like, it's just we didn't know that you guys have this type of softball. We didn't know. We just thought it was a regular. So it's like the awareness, right? The perception, the awareness, everything that goes with it is tremendous. And this is all of us. It's just not the Uncle Jimmy and Cousin Donnie show. Like, we say this all the time. It's everyone that we talk to, that we support, that we help. I mean, before you came on tonight, we had a gentleman who runs a charity tournament on the south side of Chicago, in Worth, and it's a tremendous thing. And honestly, like I didn't really know about the tournament until a couple of years ago, but it's an incredible thing that they do, and what they do for that family, the Woodward family. And I just, those are the things that people need to talk about, right? Perception, people around the fields brings people around the games. And, we need to grow what we're doing. And if you guys want to play in your 40s, because I'll be long gone by that point,
you'll be around.
We need to do this. We need to do this. So,
go
ahead.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I really wanted to address a comment from the Twitch stream, Jimmy. For the first time, someone's watching over us on Twitch. So just kind of growing the game out to Twitch. The username, can you burp on command, is the username. He says, hello, boys, nice stream. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. So, Sam, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off. I just really had to say that username.
No, you're talking about, Jimmy, just getting eyes on the game. And I think you guys talked some last week, and just talking about how softball is like also a platform to, do some good too.
Yeah.
I know last year you guys did an awesome thing at the Clincher. This will be the second year I'm hosting a food drive at that. And you guys came and donated a ton of stuff, I know, which is just a great thing. Like, good cause. We just did a food drive and donated it to the food box in Marshalltown. But another perk of that is just getting people down to the field, because we do it the Saturday of Clincher, and who knows who swings by to drop some stuff off that saw it in the community, and decides to check out softball too. So
Yeah, no, we we heard of, actually last year was the first we actually knew about it, right?
yeah,
The gentleman on our team, Robbie Garzano, he actually was the one who was like, "I'm gonna go buy the cans." Everyone just, and he took it on himself. And my joke with him was like, "Hey, dude, they got grocery stores in Iowa, right? We don't have to pack my truck with cans to drive from Chicago."
they're right by the high schools. We have those
Yeah,
too.
yeah. So that was my joke. So Robbie packs.
That was great. That was excellent, Jim.
He shows
Sam,
up to
hey,
my house. I'm like, dude,
taking some shots.
what do you got? He goes, "Oh, dude, these are all like boxes. Here's the can."
Yeah.
I go, "Rob, they have grocery stores in Iowa, dude. We can stop when we get there, He goes, "Yeah, but I think it's due today." I go, then we found out it was Saturday. We had to drive over there. Well, we ended up playing, so it was pretty cool, And I love what you guys do. I think it's an awesome thing, and I know we wear that name on the front of our shirt, but it's more for a joke. And I think we have a lot of good dudes on our team that really want to support the game. And, there's a reason why we come out there. And I think, yes, it's to have a good time, but it's also to support you guys and give back a little bit, right? I mean, you guys drive in 2, 3, 4 times a year. There's no reason why we can't drive to you once or twice. So,
Right.
and we have a blast. So
Yeah, we love having the Chicago teams come too, and I think it's a great tournament too for like all levels of Chicago to come, because we have 2 major teams here, right? And then we have our like these 8 teams that are competitive and can beat us and all this stuff. Like they're dang good too, but
Right.
it's a good tournament. Like
no,
yeah.
I mean, you guys have had, well, obviously losing old timers this year, we're going to be one short of a major team, but High Y's been going now. We've been getting other Chicago teams have been coming now since we've been coming. I know Jibbs, he's thrown a team in there a couple times.
Yep.
I know he's not coming this year because he's going to Yuma, but I know Iron's coming this year. So Iron's taking the trip down to Marshalltown, and so we're going to have some other
Cool.
mid-major, I like to say, teams that are coming down from Chicago, which will be able to go down there and compete and have a good time. And that's what we want, right? We want to promote it for you guys and want to do those things. So I think it's an awesome thing, right? So I want to ask you something though. We talk about Iowa a lot, right? We talk about your guys' teams. We talk about the state of Iowa. We talk about, just you guys in general. What do you see in the next 5 years? Do you see anything changing? Anything that's maybe top of mind with some of the teams? Maybe another team coming into play. Is there anything out there that you think, like I could see that team? I could see, is there anything that you could predict right now for the future of Iowa amongst just the teams, right?
Yeah. So I think if Stover keeps playing, and if they start making Chicago trips, I think they can win some games over there for sure. I mean, they're a really similar team to us, and they have arguably the best player in the state on their roster too. So,
Right.
I mean, if they keep playing and stick together, then they'd definitely be a team, because, like I said, they're young. Another team that's pretty young and started making some noise in Iowa last year was Punch. I know they came to A Nationals last year, and I don't think they performed like they wish they would have. And I think we all kind of expected them to make some noise over there, and I just don't think they had their best weekend, which is, I'm sure they'll be back. But they picked up a couple of the old timer guys that didn't move with everybody in the Chucks merger, so they got a couple old guys, older guys. They're gonna help their roster for sure. If they stick together, I think they're gonna be pretty darn good too. I think they're gonna be a tough out this year in any Iowa tournament.
Yeah.
So I think Punch. They're gonna be
look out for. All right.
I think when if they keep playing, I think they're gonna be pretty good too.
So where did some of the other guys that left? Because I mean, I know not every player from Old Timers went to Chucks, and I know Chucks maybe lost them too. So the guys that were the odd man out on Chucks and Old Timers, where did those guys go?
So I know two went to Punch. One went to F Town. And then one went to Sub City, which was another A team who came over last year and played in A Nationals.
Sure.
Then there's probably 5, 6 OT guys that are hanging it up, that are calling it quits. So
Wow.
just guys that are probably on the back half of their careers. I think with this, it's just kind of easy for them now to just be like, now's the time.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, kind of lost. With that happening, there's whatever good half dozen guys who could still play pretty competitive softball are just done now, which it's unfortunate, but part of the deal.
Wow. So those guys, they're like you said, they're kind of on the back half of the career, and it's like, well, this might be my time. I had a quick question. I mean, you're talking about the kid from Stover. That's really good. They're left fielder, correct? He's
Yep.
probably, you said, the best player in the state. So when we get somebody like that on an A team, you would consider Stover an A team. Are the major teams like you guys and Chuck's, are you guys trying to pick him off that team, or are you guys supportive of him playing A ball and then working his way up?
For us, like, we don't really replace our guys. We just haven't. So like we've never asked. Well, I shouldn't say that. We've asked him to come to Forest Park with us.
Okay.
But never to be on our team. I want to say old timer. I think made a run at him a couple times. But they're pretty similar to us because, like, you've had some guys get asked to move teams too. It's kind of just, you just kind of know. I don't think really we get asked anymore either. A couple of us, and it's the same with the Stover guys. Like with him, it's just you can ask him, but he's not going to say, "I'm going to get back to you," or "Let me think about it." He's just going to say, "Nope."
I like that.
So
the reason I asked that is because it's a little different around here. Jimmy could probably attest to this too. When there's a really good A player or B player that has potential to be really good now, he's getting asked by every major team to come be a part of that.
Right.
Team. So I'm just curious to see what that transition's like for a kid like that on an A team, and not to put Stover down at all, but I'm sure that he wants to grow with that team. So yeah, just a quick question. Thanks for answering that. But Jimmy, what do you think of that?
Yeah, no, I think it's great. I want to get to the chat really quick.
Yep.
We've had some, crazy things being said out there. Obviously, Jagoff first Hall of Fame. Team Jagoff should go to Carroll, Iowa for the drinking tournament. That'd be incredible. That came from our man, I believe, Joey Carbs. Joe, he mentioned out there that he's been to Marshalltown 28 times. He loves it.
Joe Polito.
Yeah, Joe Polito. He's incredible. You guys would know who he is if you saw him. Obviously, Adam says that our Twitch account is the Shiznit, so thank you for that. We've also had Joe Schumacher, Jim Schumacher, Jared Carlson, Isaiah Rosando. Here's an Iowa name, Brad Van Meter. So he's joined the feed. So welcome to the Uncle Jimmy, Cousin Donnie show. We are on show number 46, and we are about to start our rapid fire. So I want to get into, just so you know, rapid fire is, I'm going to give you 10 names. I want you to tell me a sentence or two about each one. We do have a first timer tonight in the top 10. So this individual, this name has never been in the top 10 as some of these other ones, but this is a first, right? I've never had this individual. I know you personally. I've never had this individual in the top 10 before. So I know that you have recently turned to the Bible and the church world. And so I'm going to start off number 10. Tell me about Jesus.
Well, I got it right here if you want. Maybe. I mean, if you want me to preach, I lead a Bible study on Monday night. So if you want to hop on my stream tomorrow at 7:30,
that's good.
We'll come talk about the Lord.
I need all the help I can get, Sam. So does Donnie. So we will gladly join. You can send us
Sam,
a link.
let me ask you a question. Do you drink Miller Lite while you do that stream as well?
No booze on Mondays, man.
That's great. That is really good. I did not.
We play the Pharaohs tomorrow night. I can't join, but the following one is good.
We need Jesus in this page, Jimmy. That's great. I did not see Jesus coming.
Jesus made the top 10 at number 10.
Heck yeah, man! Glory to God.
So number 9. Some people call him Jesus. It just depends on what you think of this Mr. Drew Laddick. Number 9.
So I've been trying to. Well, he's one guy that actually was on my list too. The one time I've got to play with him was that last All-Star game we played at Nationals when Iowa beat Illinois. I
Oh
don't know
yeah.
if you guys
Hopefully you
remember
guys
that.
come. Hopefully we can do that again this year. That was a lot of fun.
Oh, you're gonna come play Chucks.
Yeah. Well, you guys come play. You guys are going to be there, right? You guys will be at Nationals, and Stover's making the trip. You guys will have more than 3 or 4 teams.
Yeah, but I mean, it's gonna be our All-Star team is gonna be Chucks.
I think some of those Hall of Fame guys will get on.
Yeah,
So.
no, we'd play. No, Drew's awesome, man. I think he might be about the best competitor in 16 softball that I've seen. He just brings it. I put a team together for that Devils tournament last year.
Yep.
Tried to get him and some of those guys coming. But I just talked to him earlier this week, and hopefully going to get him to make that trip up with us this year. No, he can. I know he pitches a lot, but I mean, you could be about as good at shortstop or over as there is with no glove in Iowa too. So he's
Yeah.
a stud.
So I get to go with Drew next week or 2 weeks. We go to Yuma together for the weekend, and we get to play, and we have a blast. And you know, he's a character for sure, no doubt about it. So yeah, he was number 9. So number 8, Rob Bailey. They call him RB.
Yeah. I mean, runs the best bar in town. He's outside of the church. My next church is probably OT. So.
Now, Rob's great to us, but go ahead. Tell me a little
Yeah,
bit
no,
about Rob.
he's really good to me. You know, I'm in there every now and then, try to support him. He does a lot of good stuff, and he's just a good softball guy. Helping us out this year sometime, or with some sponsorship. Helping us out, so he'll be on our jersey a little bit this year. But just a good softball guy, good for Marshalltown too. What he does with old timers is really awesome. Don't really go to any other bar than his
Yeah.
in town. So.
Yeah, no, like I said, man, he's an incredible guy. I've fortunate enough to know him for a long time now. But either way, every time we go there, he takes care of us.
Yep.
He's an awesome thing. So,
Yep.
number 7, TJ Flanagan. And if I butcher any of these names, I'm not familiar with some of these guys. So if I butcher their names, please let me know. But TJ Flanagan.
Yeah. So TJ's one of my teammates. And one of my best friends now. It's kind of weird. He's actually a little bit older than me, but I first knew him as a stud high school baseball player as I was bat boying for the high school team. So that's how I first knew TJ, and then come to find out, whatever, 10, 12 years later, going to be playing softball with him. But really close with him. My girlfriend, his wife are good friends, and he's kind of our guy. He's kind of our rock on our team. Great player, and yeah, one of my best friends for sure too.
Number 6, the guy that told me that you need to get in the gym, Jake Reynolds.
Yeah, another good dude. Got to know him a lot last couple of years, just working out at his place. He's done a great job with ISSA stuff. He did a really cool thing for us, for the Hall of Fame guys with the Clincher Classic this year. The ISSA changed the name of that to the Joe Court Clincher Classic, which is our longtime sponsor and who started our team, who passed away last year. So no, he's done a lot for 16 softball, and he's on my list of guys that I'd love to play with. So.
Yep, absolutely. Number 5 is Ross Randell.
So Ross is a stud. He's our shortstop. Yeah, he's a
to
freak.
me. Yeah, go ahead.
He's just a freak athlete. He kind of does those things where you kind of look twice, like, how the heck did he do that? And then it's like, it's Ross. Like, that's just what he does. Um, as long as he's not trying to cut softballs, because he tends to jump when he tries to do that. He's still working out that one. But no, he first played with us when we won A Nationals. That was his first time ever playing 16-inch softball. Showed up, hit like 700. Got interviewed afterward because he played so well by Gio. And he said something. He's like, Gio asked him something about I don't know, some guy that was there.
Kidding.
And he asked him something like, so he's like, I don't know, like, how'd you put this weekend together or something like that. He's like, this is the first time I've ever played or something like that in one of his live streams. And he's just like, he had no clue what to do with that. And be like, never played before. You show up, hit like 700 and you win an A national title or whatever. So he's just a freak.
Yeah, I've got to see him now the last couple of years. Defensively, he's definitely gets after it, and I've seen that him improve year over year over year, and it's really cool to see the improvement. Right? I mean, he's getting a little older too now. Like he's still obviously a young kid, but I'm saying him playing the game, you can definitely see. And not only that, but it seems like he loves it, and I like the
Yeah.
fact that he's cocky too.
Oh yeah, he's
To me, those are the
quiet.
guys that I want behind me. So
Yeah,
no,
he's only 24,
yeah.
so he's young.
It's like his third or
Man,
fourth year now, right?
Yeah, so he played yeah, the A Nationals he played, and that was 2019. I don't think he played a full year after that. So I think this is like year 3 or 4 full
Yeah.
years. So yeah.
Yep. No, for sure. So number 4 is one of my favorite guys. I've got to have many beers with this dude. He's hysterical, and that's Chad Harold.
Wow, he's fiery dude. I haven't got to play with him ever. Well, the All Star game, I guess. But he's one of those guys you want in your dugout. Definitely not one you want to play against because he's gonna talk. He's gonna tell you. Um, no, he's again a competitor. He's gonna be a great leader on that Chucks team. Great older guy for them to help lead and figure all that out. So they're gonna. So no, he's a good dude.
Yep. So Donnie, this is where we stop before we get to the
hmm
top 3. Donnie usually goes to
hmm
the comments. I see a lot
yeah,
of comments lighting up out
some good
there.
ones.
Our boy Stephen John, I see him. He's joined the feed. So I always like to hear what he's got to say.
He's usually he's a spark plug on Facebook. He loves to comment stuff, and we are looking forward to seeing some fiery comments from him. Brad Van Meter had a great little piece on Rod Bailey. Said he was the pitcher for Carpet Country the first 3 years from 91 to 93. So a little history there. That's nice. Jimmy, Stephen John says, main host stream pixelated. You're fine. You look great. TJ Flanagan hits from Pops Alejandro. But yeah, some great comments, going on. We appreciate all the support, and obviously the Beacon Top supporting us. And thank you guys for watching another fantastic episode of the Uncle Jimmy Cousin Donnie show. And we're going to continue on with the rapid fire. Jimmy, you've been outstanding this week with the list so far. I may say.
So before I get to the top 3, we have to call Pops out, right? The
Oh,
rumor has it is Pops is saying a little something about my team. I'm gonna have to talk to that man after the game, but
what
that's
did he
fine.
say? Say it. What did he say?
He's saying that our Hex team is a bunch of guys that no one wants. I was laughing. I'm like, that's a pretty good line, though. That's a great line. I love it. So it fired our team up. So hopefully very soon we'll definitely get to play them. So it'll be awesome to see. So
That's what you guys need. That's what you guys need, a little fire to start the season, right?
we do need a little fire, and we'll see. We'll see how it goes. So I'm looking forward to the first tournament, which is Westchester.
Uh-huh.
And we'll see. So, but back to you, my man, Sam Rogers. No relation to Aaron Rodgers, right?
No, he spells his name completely wrong.
Completely different. Yeah, I know. But I had to ask. You never know. Maybe you wanted to take the D out of there just because of the fact that you don't want to be related to him. So, but number 3, Jeff Blackford.
So Jeff Blackford's I mean, quite honestly, I call him Pops. Like Dad Pops. He's
Yeah.
at this point kind of become like almost a father figure to me. He's a guy I share church with. Going back to your number 10, that Jesus guy.
Yeah.
A lot of Jesus conversations with Jeff Blackford.
Oh yeah.
No, he's he's a guy who could go to anything, take anything to him, and he could help me out. Really, really close to him. He means a lot to me, and his family does. His son, Trey Blackford, was the guy that brought me to softball I talked about earlier. That's who I go to church with, is some of those guys, and some of the other stuff. So he's up there, and people that pretty important to me in my life. So he's awesome.
That's great.
So number 2, this dude is a TikTok, Snapchat, you name it, sensation. He travels the world. Okay, he delivers food. He's incredible. He makes me laugh. He was filming games a couple of years ago for Iowa, and that's our boy Whitey.
So I don't know him super well, but I've heard enough stories to feel like I know him a little bit. He's done some live streaming too, so if you ever hear him do a little live streaming, you kind of get to know him a little bit and what he's, who he is. So I don't know him really well, but the stories about him are good, and I've been around him. Been in a group with him before or whatever, and had some beers, and he's a pretty hysterical dude. If you need a night of laughs and a good guy to drink with, I think he'd be a pretty good candidate to go hear some stories and maybe get some influence to do some stuff that we got to go pray about on Sundays.
So yeah, so I had a Ty Whitey in there because I know the Chicago folks and a lot of people that watch our show from Chicago know
Yeah.
Whitey very well. So
Yeah.
I know that you know a couple stories or two about Whitey. Maybe you don't want to share those stories because everyone tells me you don't have nothing bad to say about anybody. So I'm sure Whitey would definitely appreciate that as well. So
Yeah, his stories are for him to tell. We'll leave him to do that.
He might have to be a future guest.
Yeah, for sure. So
Yeah.
number one is the gentleman who they just named the clincher for, the gentleman that started your team. I know you brought him up earlier, and that's Joe Court. But tell us a little bit about Joe.
Yeah, obviously he passed away or whatever, and that's kind of a big deal for our team. He was the first sponsor of our team. I mean, before I started playing, and he was the reason the team started. Uh, it's gonna be a lot different without him around this year running a concession stand. So that's gonna be a lot different. But I mean, yeah, so fortunate to have him as a sponsor. I mean, I don't know many sponsors that go to every tournament with their teams. I mean, he was at every Chicago tournament with us every year,
Yeah.
sitting on the dugout doing the book for us. I mean, he's in the parking lot drinking beers with us afterwards. I don't think many sponsors do that on top of paying for everything. And that tournament's getting named after him for a reason. He did
Sure.
so much for 6 softball, so much for Marshalltown as a whole. Yeah, just it's gonna be a different year without him, in the dugout with us for sure.
Yeah.
But that actually, I know, Donnie, I know you asked me about bringing a favorite jersey. I'm gonna tie that in quick. We got these made last year, and I'll show it here. It's got his caricature on here, if you can see it, maybe.
Yeah.
And
I
then
see. Yeah.
it says Joe's guys. So we got these made
Cool.
last year and played a tournament with him. It's got his last name and his number on there, because we always got him a jersey. So he's pretty important to us. He'll be on our jerseys this year, getting new jerseys, and he'll be on those because we want to kind of carry his legacy on too, and
You
change a
guys
lot
will
for
have,
us. Go ahead.
now I was gonna say you have to rock those at North South in your
Those
first
are
game.
cool. Those are really
Yeah,
cool.
well, we can. I'm sure we can bring them out again. They all have the same number, so I don't know how that would go, but
That's
um,
true.
That's fine.
no, it's gonna be a different year without him. It was a kind of a hard thing for our team. Just changed a lot, and it's gonna be different. It's gonna be different. It's gonna be yeah.
So how did he have family? Tell us a little bit about Joe.
Yeah, so he after he passed, his daughter and his son-in-law continued to run the concession stand there for the remainder of that year. Unfortunately, it's going to a different family this year. But they still show up to our we have like our team events in the off season. Still try to keep them involved as much as we can, because I mean Joe's family to us, and the family thing's important. So we still talk to his daughter, try to keep them involved. We try to keep them in, like, we have a golf tournament next weekend that we're doing as a fundraiser for Hall of Fame, and we're kind
Yeah.
of dedicating that to Joe. We're gonna have a hole dedicated to Joe, and I know they're gonna be out of town, but we're hoping to have just some stuff out there that hopefully that just to remember Joe.
Right.
I mean, everyone loved him. And if you've played softball in Marshalltown, the guy served you a beer, and it was probably a pretty darn good one. So
I love that.
Speaking of beer, our boy Steven John is telling he's had as many beers as we have viewers probably today. So just wanted to throw that out there.
This is this is going to be a very interesting last little bit of this show with those two guys potentially getting at it, Sam. You might want to stick around for a little bit of that.
I love stupidity, so bring it on, Steven. So when you Sam, for the viewers out there that really kind of obviously focus in on Chicago, right? I mean, obviously that's what we do. But tell us about something that maybe, is there a fun fact about Iowa or something that we wouldn't know?
about Iowa, like as a state, or about
Just
softball, or what?
anything. Yeah. Give us something.
a fun one would be if you come to Carroll, Iowa, you're not going to win the drinking tournament.
Ooh, I like
They're
it.
3 years
If
in a
I
row.
Hey, if I bring Steve with us, maybe we will.
It's a pretty cool ordeal. So they sell how they do it is they sell buckets that have 12 beers in them, and then they keep a scoreboard going of how many buckets you buy and finish.
Ooh.
So there's a running scoreboard too, and kind of the funny thing is we haven't won that tournament because it's one of those home run fields, and Chucks and OT just tend to put up 93 runs a game over there. But
Yeah.
so we do the drinking thing, but the drinking trophy keeps being bigger than the softball trophy. So we've had some pretty cool, like 4 or 5 foot tall
That's what happens when
drinking
you spend the
trophies.
most money.
That's
That's
great.
what happens when you spend the most money. The field gets you bigger
That's
trophies.
that's what it is. It's basically you buy the trophy, but we tend to drink the beers that we buy too.
Oh yeah, for sure. So, Donnie, what do you got
Yeah.
for our guys?
I've got one final question for you, Sam. And
Yeah.
after rapid fire, Jimmy kind of gets into his nitty gritty of the question that he asks everybody. But when can we see you in Chicago? What's Hall of Fame got on the schedule in terms of coming down to Chicago and playing? I know you mentioned North South. You said 3 tournaments for you guys that you're going to make the trip to. What do we got on the schedule for you guys?
Yes, we've come to North South the last 4
Mhm.
years, 3 years. I think we've been playing no glove now over there.
Mhm.
Danny Atkins or whatever. I've got to play out with Iron twice. Played
Yep.
with him in Vegas last year, and then Dells 2 years ago. So I've got to know him a little bit. So we like to go support him in his tournament. Then fingers crossed we get the invite to Forest Park again. So that'd be trip number 2, and then Glove Nationals would be our
Okay.
3rd trip.
Perfect. So we just want, you're going to have such a recognizable face in front of all 39 viewers. So we want people to see. We want people to come up and chat with you. So, but yeah,
Oh,
before Jimmy gets into it, I just want to say thanks for being a part of our show. And
Heck yeah, man.
you've been awesome in talking about all the high schools in Iowa and all the beers you guys have been drinking. But Jimmy, take it from here, my friend. What do you got?
so Sam, obviously, before we hand the floor over to you, I ask every guest and I
Yeah.
ask every person that comes on our show about softball and about what we can do to improve the game, right? So my question to you is really, if you had one thing today or anything that you would do basically in general to improve softball or change softball to make it better,
Yeah.
what would it be?
So I think it's just something I do. I'm trying to think of stuff kind of that haven't been brought up yet, but I think it's different in Iowa than it is in Chicago.
Yep.
In Iowa, I think we just kind of need exposure. Like it just needs people. Because I mean, even when you guys have your tournaments, I mean, there's so many people there just watching. There's stuff going on, and I think something that I think we just need people. I think we need to get eyes there, get people talking about it. I think the more people that are there, the more fun it is to play. The more that's going on, it's easier to show up when there's people there. So I think just getting people there. I know people have talked about like before I started playing that they used to have just how many teams were in leagues, and there used to be live music at leagues or tournaments, and food trucks and that kind of stuff. And we just
Yep.
don't really have much of that anymore. But those things just get people out.
Right. Well,
Uh,
we should probably start promoting the Marshalltown tournament,
yeah,
which is the week after Memorial Day in town, especially letting them know that we're going to be in town too. So I think that'll definitely help
that'll
viewers.
bring the people. That'll bring the crowds. No,
That'll
that
bring
that tournament's
all
got
39.
yeah. Yeah.
So, but
Um,
yeah, that's a great thing. Like, how do you, to your question or to your statement, that my question is what can you do to just start with one weekend, which is the Marshalltown weekend, right? Or the Clincher Classic. Uh, how could you guys draw more? I mean, is there anything that could be done out there to basically do what you said?
I know there's been talks of a lot of stuff. There has been like the food trucks, or at least one food truck out there the last couple of years. With concession changing hands, I don't know if that'll be a thing again this year.
Right.
Uh, but I mean, like one year I know we had like a DJ out there, which that's not going to be the reason people come down necessarily, but just to get people down there, you can sell beer. I mean, you can make it a party in a sense. If there's live music or something like that, I don't know if that's a distraction to softball, but
Yep.
if it is and it gets people down there, then awesome.
Yep.
I know this year something Jake to bring him up again. I think it's the losers bracket final, the winners bracket final, and the championship of the clincher games are all going to be televised on a local station.
Yep.
So that'll be a pretty cool thing. That'll be, I mean, really awesome for 16 softball in Iowa, for Marshalltown as a whole. To hopefully
Yep.
get some people on. So Jake did a phenomenal job with that, making that work. So there's good things happening. And
Yep.
great opportunities to grow there. I think the Chicago thing, I know Mike talked about it last week with you guys, how he was trying to get to the younger crowd, like the high school guys and stuff like that. I think part of that too is like introducing them to it, but then making it accessible and like the financial aspect. Because it's really hard. Like if you're a high school kid and want to play, if you don't get picked up, but you have a group of guys that want to start a team, I mean, it's tough to, how do you do that? How do you get sponsorship? How do you get jerseys? Paying for balls, getting bats for the first time or whatever.
Right.
So however it is, to make that easy, once you get the name to them and be like, here's the packet, you're ready to go. First game's Thursday kind of thing. So I think you get, doing a lot of great things. I think we're as a whole, I think 16 inches headed back up. It's just, gonna be some growing pains along the way.
Let's get the exposure going for sure. I think it'll be an incredible thing, and I look forward to Marshalltown every year, so it's going to be awesome. But Donnie, Dante Jenkins wants to know what you're sipping on.
Deontay wants to know what's in this old mason jar that I got. This is water. Very, very uninteresting water. I could have lied and said something crazy, but just simply water for me tonight, Jim. We got Miller Lite in the middle. Jimmy, what are you sipping on tonight?
I got a good old Forest Park mug.
Those are great.
I'm just having a little water. Nothing.
Gotta get your team koozie going.
There you go. The Hall of Fame thing, for sure.
I like that.
So Tim Dalton says Field of Dreams 16-inch tourney.
Oh,
that's cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That'd be
Tyler
sweet.
Sickle says get rid of 14-inch in Iowa and force people to play 16-inch, which is a really good statement.
Yeah, so 14-inch is kind of like the 14-inch state tournament I used to play in, especially when I started, and make it down there every now and then. Well, sometimes, I guess now. But, I mean, there's 30-plus teams in that. They have that at a pretty cool complex, like a Perfect Games complex in Marion, Iowa. It's, all-turf facility. It sells beer. It's a pretty nice place. But, yeah, 14-inch is really big in Cedar Rapids, I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, for sure. So, well, at this part of the show, we hand it over to you. And do you have any questions for Uncle Jimmy and Cousin Donnie, my friend?
Yeah, we're going to talk. I want to ask a little bit about the transfer portal over there in 16-inch softball.
Okay. All right.
So which transfer portal change here do you think will play the biggest impact on a team? Like, which transfer do you think will make a team that much better? And then which transfer will hurt a team the most?
Donnie, I'll let you go first. I got to think of one.
Man, that's a really good question.
I got
transfer
one already.
Portal stuff. I thought of one. I thought about myself, obviously very influential for my new squad. No, not to brag. No.
So Sam, before he speaks, let me just say the transfer portal on Donnie. The last two teams that he left, they were in the championship game this past tournament. Just want to put that out there.
Correct.
But go ahead.
Thank you. Thanks, Jim, for putting that out there. There's an individual, Marty Dozen, probably. So he played with Meatball City last year, and his dad runs the team called Moneyline. Marty Dozen left Meatball City after being probably one of their best hitters, if not their best hitter, and then went back to play with his dad on Moneyline and started in center field for them right away. And he's a game-changing type of player. And funny enough, Meatball City beat Moneyline in the first tournament of the year with a ball that bounced over Marty Dozen's head for a home run. So kind of a little bit of a get back at you for it, but that's a really big change for a person of that kind of quality, that big of a player to go. I mean, I could see that. And Moneyline picked up a couple really nice guys, a couple guys from Signature, the team I play for with the Davis brothers. That team's going to be really nice, and that's an influential couple guys for that Moneyline team. But yeah, Jimmy, what do you got?
So really quick before I give you my answer, Joey Carbs, one of the faves, he says Uncle Jimmy and cousin Donnie should have a kissing booth. We would attract some crowds.
That's pretty
I
solid
know.
advice.
So, and then Drew said get rid of the SBS and spread the talent like 4 years ago. So
Click ass BS. I like that.
yeah. So hey, it is what it is. But my team that I think this year, from what they were last year, is not necessarily on the major level. It's a team to me that I call a mid-major, and that would be March. I think March is going to be a significant better team than last year they had a lot of struggles. They were March Impact last year. They're just March now, which is nice because people were getting confused.
Mm-hmm.
But March, I feel this year is going to make some big strides. They picked up 4 guys from our team.
Yep.
They had a couple nice pieces already on that team. They've got some old veterans and they've got some speed. And I think that, as the year goes on, they're going to get better and better. And, if those guys that left our team and the couple other pieces that they have, continue to show up continuously over the course of the year, they're going to be, they're going to be a team that's can give some problems to some people. And I think that's, from where they were last year, kind of not that great to where they're going to be this year, competing in the, just call it top 12-ish, top 15-ish.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big stride, and I think it's a huge improvement for that team.
Yeah, cool. All right, I'll go that was kind of the player thing, but which team do you think takes the biggest step back this year from last year?
Oof. Man, that's a good question too. Biggest step back from last year. So
all right. So let me just ask a question to you. When you mean step back, do you mean somebody like who finished in the top 4 last year, or somebody who was like consistently in the top 4, or was a major team that we're going to take a step back to an A team, or is that
any of that? Just a team that probably declines based on last year's performance or finishes, or
you know what? I think
good question.
God, what'd you say, Donnie?
I was gonna say that's a good question. I mean, you don't want to offend anybody that watches our show because we appreciate all of our viewers. But let me think about it. Jimmy, go ahead.
My thing is signature.
Come on, what are you talking about?
I had to say it because I wanted to see his face.
We were gonna say Hex.
Yeah,
No.
I mean,
I'm kidding.
I'm really trying to think. That's a good, because you got to think of all the teams, right? And you got to think of like where they were, what they've done. To your first question, Iron's going to be another one that I think is going to be. They
They're
picked
better.
up 5 guys that are going to
Yeah,
help.
they're better.
Step back. To take a step back, I mean, it's really tough to think of. My guess, if I had a guess on one, and I don't really know where they were, they weren't really a top, 24 team last year. But my guess would be Splash.
Okay. So going for that
Because
A
I
level.
don't know what Marky's got. They dropped out of the first tournament of the year.
Yeah.
I know Marky's got talented people. They've competed at the level. They got in Forest Park. They've done X, Y, and Z. And I know Marky usually definitely gets, a talented team usually. I just don't know what he's going to have this year, because I know Brett, I know a couple of the guys that are on the squad, there's some work things and so on. They dropped out of the first tournament of the year. So I'm just curious to see what they have. I know they're still playing in the A League. They didn't go up to the major league, what they should have. So that would be my only one, but not in a bad way. I just think in a way where they're not going to get bodies.
Yeah.
The team that may struggle this year because of what they are forced to do might be Demons, Jim. That they came and kind of did really well at the A level last year, and now just based on the amount of teams that are in the major game for us, Sam, they're forced to go up and play major. Yeah. And they kind of lost some of their guys or retained some of their guys. Didn't know if they were going to even have a team. And I don't mean this to be tough on my guy Peter Corral. I know he's watching, but it's tough to make that jump. And you've got to you've got to get better, right? They're going to take a couple lumps maybe this year, but I think they're a really solid and talented team. But they're forced to play at a higher level, and I think that's tough for some people to kind of grasp. You've got to kind of be committed, and I want to see them do well just so they can tell me to F myself, because I like a lot of those guys on the team. But it's tough to make that jump, going from playing A ball and then going to major and playing Forest Park major. And I commend those guys, and I appreciate those guys for doing it. So I know Roberto says Demons are going to be able to compete. I really hope so, and I want them to. And there it is, right there, perfect. So thanks a lot, Sam, for making me look like a jerk. But I want them to compete. Just saying, it's a tough jump.
Yeah. All right, I got two quick ones for you here. Which upcoming A team is going to be the first team to be like consistently competitive, or like a Sherlock major team? Like, which A team makes the next jump where it's like, they're going to be in that conversation with Flash, Signature, 45s, Hex, and like those teams.
An A team right now that's going to jump in the next couple years or no?
Yeah. Just the next team that's going to be like their major team. You expect them to, be on the podium.
Ooh. Well, I mean, I think Iron could be the next team to jump, because they got a young core of kids that are pretty talented.
Yeah.
They're going to need to pick up some people still, but I think this year they're going to be more competitive than they were last year, and those younger kids are now graduating college. I've seen the Pharaohs. I mean, the Pharaohs have made a jump. Meatball City, they won the first tournament. I don't know what they're going to be throughout the course of the year.
I would say they're considered a top 10 major team even before the year starts. So it's kind of tough to say that. But I see what you're saying with those guys, and it's good to see it. Pete says Menace. Just kind of depends on who Menace picked up. I know they're always going to compete. And like I always say, they're a good tournament team. 10 deep.
Yeah, they're 10 deep, but I don't know if 10 deep is going to be able to compete at a major level. Consistently. I don't know. They just don't play in enough tournaments. I don't see them out there. Maybe they will this year they got bigger, better guys. Absolutely. My one team I would say right now that's not in the top 10 or 15 or whatever you want to say would be Iron. And I think that they could, in the next couple of years, become a team that maybe is going to make a run with the young, if they stay together, right? They got some young talent players on that team. And I think they could make that jump. And I mean, hopefully CJ and the guys that went there can also improve them this year to make them competitive this year.
Jimmy DeFalco says Sauce. I think that's a really nice kind of under the radar A team right now. They beat Flash in the tournament this year already. Brian, he said he's in a rebuilding year, but Brian's a nice manager. He does a nice job with those guys. So I think Sauce will be a nice team.
Yeah.
Look at you. These are good questions, man. These are really nice questions.
Sam, I'm not going to kid you. These might be top one of one.
These are good.
These are awesome, dude.
Perfect.
You're making me think tonight. I like it.
That's my plan. I kind of wanted to hear some stuff and maybe get your comments going a little bit and just hear some people's opinions.
Yeah.
All right, your last one. If you're starting a dynasty today with where everyone's at, where they're at now in their careers and their ability, but you're starting a team that you want to be pretty legit moving forward, who are you picking? Who's the one player you're starting the team with, and who's the manager you're starting it with?
Wow. That's a nice question. Look at you, dude. I'm so proud of you. This is great.
I'm just curious. Stuff like this.
Donnie, I'll tell you this. The question game for you and I has stepped up the last couple of weeks. People have been doing their homework.
I love this. This is what man. The player who I would select, I would pick Spencer Mahoney. So I get obviously the privilege of playing with Spencer all the time. He's still learning the game. Still,
How old is Spencer though?
30. But he's only been playing softball for 4 years, 4 years. So he's still kind of learning and getting better. So if I was to start a dynasty, I think he'll be around for a while. He's a pretty athletic human being.
A dynasty is 4 to 5 years, right? Is what you're thinking of, that you're going to win it.
Would you pick?
If I were to start today a dynasty, I would not start with an infielder. I would start probably with an outfielder. And the guy I enjoy playing with the most is
Sanchez.
Anthony Sanchez from the 45s.
Yeah.
And it's not because I think he's the best player. Not that. Not because I don't think he's a really good hitter. I love the fact that how he approaches the game every time. And he's swearing at his dad. He's fucking yelling and screaming, but he's fired up, ready to go. And he's one of the reasons, honestly, why I really enjoy playing in Yuma, because I get to play with him and we have a great time together. And he's a down to earth kid, and I've gotten to know him a lot better over the last couple of years, which if you don't know him, he could easily be a turnoff sometimes. If you don't know him, he's almost like a Kurt on our team, where if you don't know Kurt, people might think he's an asshole, but Kurt's one of the nicest guys
He is.
you ever met. And people say that about myself, and that's okay. But people say I'm an asshole. I enjoy that, right? So, but either way, like with Anthony, and I think if I were to start something, I think he's my left fielder, he's my leadoff hitter, and he's a guy who's going to show up with just an attitude that's going to win every single day. His dad was a Major League Baseball player. He's got pedigree. His dad's an incredible softball player. You know what I mean? Still playing at 60. So still hitting, still pitching, still doing a lot of the stuff that, we're all doing now. So, so that would be my one guy. And then my coach.
That's a good
If I
question.
had
I'm floored by the questions.
Yeah, before Donnie gives his answers, he said Spencer Mahoney. But Donnie, who's your coach?
Sal and Jeff Bates. There you
Who?
go. Sal Milazzo and Jeff Bates.
All
Best
right,
coaches.
Stop with the bullshit, dude. All right. All right. Who would be your coach for the dynasty for the next 5 years? Take your team out of it. You can't mention your team members.
Okay, that's fair. I like the way Joel runs his team for Meatball City. He's kind of down to earth, easygoing.
The guy you left.
Correct. Good point. I guess, yeah, that's a good point. Fuck.
He's trying to get on good terms again.
Yeah, I can't have any enemies. That's hilarious. Man, Big Nick would be really good. How about Jesus?
Jesus?
Yeah.
Pretty good manager.
He's with
That's a
us
live
every
coach.
day.
Joe Carver said Jesus would be great.
For a dynasty, I got to think of a coach that's got some fire left in him, right? It's a tough question, because I've played for Jibs and I've played for those guys on Flash. I've played for a lot of the guys with the 45s. I'm really thinking of like somebody who really hasn't won, but is somebody who's really good and has won some things. It's easy to say, oh yeah, Flash and 45 guys, because they've won a lot of things, a lot of tournaments, right? But if I was starting a dynasty, I would probably want to take my coach. I'd probably want a guy like an old time player, like a Jeff Berger, or something along those lines. And then, if I had to pick a coach today, I would probably say Matt Dozen.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. Two. I mean, guys that have played or been around the game a long time. Lane Neiman would be a really good option as well. I mean, he's a fantastic coach.
You know what? Kelly from Rack City, or Kelly. I like Kelly. He comes to Yuma with us. He would be awesome. He's just a good dude. I know Randy Nelson said Jerry Brown and other good. There's a lot of good guys out there. It's crazy. Just a coach, right? Not a coach player. Great questions, man. That's an incredible question. I like it. Really makes you think. Big Mix, another one, right? So, there's a lot of good ones. And my two would be Anthony Sanchez and probably Matt Dozen, just because I know it matters, right? So it definitely does.
Sweet. I was just curious. I was curious more on the player side. know those names, but wasn't as sure on who the manager people would be.
So now we got to flip that question to you.
Oh,
Not-
if I was going Iowa guys, I think the player I'd pick is probably Aaron Hauser. He's a Chucks guy. Um,
What position does he
he's
play?
he'll play outfield, play right field for them. He hit leadoff for those guys last year,
The
his first year
lefty,
on the
right?
team. Yep. He's gonna be pretty darn legit. I mean, I think here in a couple of years, he's gonna have a pretty good argument to be the best player in Iowa. And he had a tournament in Iowa last year. He was playing leadoff for those guys and for Chucks. And their first game in the championship, I think he started the game home run, home run, home run. And I mean, that's can't really start a game better than that as a guy that's supposed to get base hits, but just happened to lift the ball and, gonna be pretty darn good. Um, God, the manager thing, I wasn't ready for this to get flipped on me. Um, gosh, I'd have to think about that. I think,
I mean,
I think
obviously, you can't say anyone from your team because
yeah,
that's
yeah, yeah. I think I'd maybe go with Mike McCune. He's a Stover guy. He kind of
yeah.
pitched for them.
Mhm.
He's been a guest on our show. We know
He's
Mike.
been on the
Yeah.
show.
He came to Forest. Him and his son came to Forest Park with us last year. But I think he's kind of what you're saying. He's still around the game, still plays, but he wants to win and has played long enough where it's a guy you can trust. And I think he'd be a pretty darn good leader. He leads the Stover team. And he led them to an A national championship last year and back-to-back championship appearances there. So I think he'd be the guy I'd choose.
Yeah.
Good. Eh.
I like it. I like it. So, any other questions for us, Sam? Because I
Yeah,
really,
please.
I really enjoyed.
Sam, be
Really
careful with what you're asking.
That's all I had written down. I was prepared. That's what I came up with this week. So next time, if there's another time, I'll have another list for you.
Yeah, dude,
Good.
it's incredible. I know next week's guest better be prepared for questions because you're going to be hard to top, my man.
Perfect. I like it.
Yeah.
Hopefully, earn a spot back sometime.
Yeah,
Joey
we'll have
Carter
to check
says
in
I
with you again.
choose because of the $5 out rule. Thanks,
Well,
Joey.
Sam, I appreciate you very much, man, and it was great chatting with you. Thank you for kind of keeping us in the loop as to what's going on in your world. I appreciate the questions, and obviously appreciate your time and everything. Jimmy, anything else for Sam before we kick him out of here?
No, I just want to say thank you so much, for coming on. I know sometimes it's not easy to come on here if you're not used to it, right? And we get that all the time. You did a tremendous job, man. We appreciate your time, and I think your questions they're going to be talked about for a while. I might steal one of those questions.
I'm stealing both. I'm stealing a couple of them.
So those are incredible questions, man. So
All right, I'll think of some more and send them your way just so you can start using some.
yeah, so my buddy Chris Bohinka there, he used to play softball here and there, and good high school buddy, not around the major game much. He said those are the best questions ever asked. New segment, Stump the Host. So awesome, dude. Awesome stuff, man. I definitely appreciate it, Sam. And to your point, right, growing the game, someone who's not around the game much, commenting on our show. So awesome, man. Definitely appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing you in like 3 weeks.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you guys having on and appreciate getting Smile guys on here to talk about our game a little bit too. So
Yeah,
it's
absolutely,
fun.
man.
I appreciate it.
We're gonna spread the word and continue to talk about that clincher. So hopefully it's coming. We'll be coming your way in about 3 weeks.
Awesome. We'll see you then.
Thank
Sweet.
you.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Dude, those questions were incredible.
Solid. Very, very good. I mean, I like the whole stump the host thing. That's a great idea for a segment.
Yeah.
Man, I'm still like thinking of different answers I want to say in my head. But yes, Sam was great. We appreciate him coming on.
Yeah, no, he was awesome. I know we got a couple minutes here, about 5-6 minutes before we want to hop off. But is there anything, Donnie, that you thought like, now thinking back at those questions, was like, man, there was some opportunities. Like there's some teams that I thought of after I kind of gave I thought my answers were pretty good. I just think that like, who's the one team that's going to take the step back this year?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I mean, obviously the way Hexa started, right? Hopefully we wake up. But no, I mean, honestly, think about it. It's a great question, and it's
No.
no this, hey man, we got to talk sometimes about tough topics and tough things. We're in this situation. It's no hard feelings towards anybody. Uh, it's just honest opinions. And so, the other team is that Players Inc. came to mind
Mm,
because I know they just don't play enough, and
yeah.
they have a solid team, man.
Yeah, they picked up a couple nice recruits. I know you mentioned Dynasty at the beginning of the year. That's another team. They just don't play a ton of games either. They're only doing Melrose this year, so they're going to play once a week together. I know there are guys playing Parks and everything, but I'd like to see Dynasty play a little bit better this year than they did last year. I know they've got some really nice players over there still, and they added Jack Landwehr to the team, a nice defensive player. So I appreciate those questions because it makes you think, but you don't want to badmouth anybody's team because we're not badmouthing anybody's team. We're just saying this potentially could happen, or this is what we see going into the season. So I mentioned Demons just having to, they're forced to play major. Are they ready? Are they not? It'll be interesting to see how those guys adapt to a new level of softball this season. So that's kind of where I went with that answer. And obviously we love those guys. We love Cousin Peter. So we appreciate the support from those guys, but it makes you think. I was trying to think of another guy to start a dynasty around the whole time you guys were talking, but man, there's so many good young players. I mean, Justin Smykowski was one that I thought of. I know his dad was talking a little bit of trash to us during the stream, but
But we love that though. That's what
we
we love.
love that. We love the comments. But he's an unbelievable
we don't
player.
hold that against him. We don't
Definitely
hold that
not.
against
Heck no. He's an unbelievable player. And he plays outfield. He can play infield. That's a huge thing you want to start a dynasty around. So, man, that's pretty cool. Exactly, Pops. That's a great point. They made Line Drive move up after they won A, and they won one game last year against Iron. so it
shocker.
Yeah, right. With me on the mound. But yeah, it's an interesting question. It's something to think about, right?
Yes, Lee. The Demons did win a tournament last year. They won the A National last year.
They won A Nationals. Yep. They went clean through A Nationals.
Yep. If the dynasty question to me is pretty interesting because I think it's more tailored to guys under 30, right? I think that's what we're looking at, right? Because I mean, obviously, we could say, some of the guys in their upper 30s or even their lower 40s that would still they're still really good players that you'd want to have on your squad and that are going to be around for 5 years. I mean, the question is really the next 5 years. That's what the dynasty is. So, I mean, obviously, Nate and guys like that would be, good. But you look at the guys on Flash like Iggy, and you look at guys on even BTA with Wes. Hell of a hitter, and the thing about Wes, which I don't even think he gets enough credit, is he plays the outfield. He can play first. He can play a lot of positions, and it's like he doesn't really miss a beat,
No,
so
he lives for softball. I mean, he plays more than anybody. I mean, just as much as anybody out there too. So this is Who is it? What gamer is he talking about? But Jimmy, I want to do something quick before we sign off. I'm going to run through the games tomorrow at Forest Park.
Yep.
And I want you to say win, lose. All right. Quick answer. I'm going to give you. There's games at 6:45, 8, and 9:15 tomorrow. So there's games all night tomorrow at Forest Park. And I don't know if Adam Cumby's going to be streaming the games, but if he is, definitely give Adam a watch. He's great up there and does a nice job with those things. And ready?
Yeah. So tomorrow I wanted to let you know that I am going to be walking over to Adam's box after our game. We play at Forest Park tomorrow.
Yep.
I'm going to be walking over to him as he's announcing, and I'm going to just totally jump right on his feet. He don't even know what's coming.
You're going to get a little shock. You're going to do a little shock.
We're just going to volt him. Shock right in, walk right in the press box and just start talking to him.
There's our guy Wes in the chat. We just bragged about you, Wes, and how good you were and that you play a lot of ball and that you love it. So obviously we appreciate you on the show. And all right, ready, Jim? First game of the night.
That's what Donnie said. That's not what I said, but no, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. But either way, no, this segment, I think we're going to call it future predictions, right? Is that what we're going with? Future
Sure.
predictions?
Sure.
All right.
Ready?
Donnie.
First one, Hex Pharaohs.
Well, I mean, obviously I got to go Hex. I can't bet against
Correct.
my own guy.
Correct. Wes said he's never coming on the show again. March High Y.
March High Y. Well, High Y tends to get everybody out there, so I'll go High Y.
Okay. Pharaoh's Circus.
Well, Circus hasn't played yet, have they?
No. Pharaohs has probably played 5-6 games.
I think that game's going to be closer than people think, but I'm going to go Circus.
Okay. Signature March. Go ahead.
March. No.
Okay.
I got it. I mean, Signature right now, I think, I know, to me, you guys are one of the hottest teams going right now just because of the way you started the year. I know you lost and whatever, but I don't take much. I mean, more credit to Meatball City, but I don't take much from that tournament. Obviously Meatball played their ass off. They beat the teams they had to beat.
Yep.
Tons of credit for Meatball. But what I'm saying for you guys, I don't take much into consideration for that tournament for you guys. Prior to that, I think you guys, what? Have you lost? I mean, have you lost in league play? You lost one time the Flash.
Yep, we
right?
lost the Flash. We beat Hex, and then we beat March last week.
And I know you walked off Meatball the other night.
Yep. And then
And
we beat. Yeah. So yeah, we're playing good, playing fantastic right now.
Yeah.
So I'd like to go in. We play March for the third time in like 2 weeks. So it could be one of those games. Would they come back and they come out with fire?
It might be a little closer than people think. I just,
Fair.
So we'll see.
I'd like to jump on them. So the next game is Circus Demons.
I mean, if I had to put a line on that game's got to be 4.5, 5.5 Circus, right? I mean, Demons, to your point, jumping up.
I feel bad.
Well, I mean,
Circus. We're not dissing the Demons.
No, but I mean, Circus is probably a top 2-3 team in softball. Like,
correct.
You understand my point? Like, it's. I mean, Circus is very good. Like, you have to hit the beat. Like
correct.
You know what I mean? Like but
yeah, you have to be perfect defensively.
Could the Demons win? Yeah, sure they could, but then again, I don't know who the hell Circus is going to have out there either. So God knows what lineup. But last year it didn't seem to bother them. Whatever they had out there, they won. So they always play good early in the year.
The last game of the night. So you got Circus in that game. Last game of the night is Signature and Impact.
Signature and Impact. I mean, that's you guys minus probably 7.5.
Oh, okay, I love it. I love the confidence in us. Thank you, Jim. But that's it for Monday. We'll check back in next Sunday and just kind of see how Jimmy's picks went. There's some games Wednesday as well. So we've got a packed schedule over at Forest Park this week.
Did you write down my picks? You'll write them down for next week, so that way.
I'll write them down for.
And next week we'll go through Tuesdays and Thursdays as well, just to give you a quick rundown. We'll save more time for the segment at the end for that.
Perfect.
So,
all right, my man. Well, I'll see you on Sunday.
All right, my man. I appreciate it. Thank you, everyone, for following Uncle Jimmy, Cousin Donnie's show, sponsored by the Beacon Tap. Guys, obviously, it's always a great time. We appreciate the comments. We appreciate everyone in the feed. Obviously, Lee Render, always great looking at your comments. Trav, Wes, Bobby Ronald. Awesome. Everyone, thank you so much. We appreciate it. And we will see everyone next Sunday at 9 p.m.